Hello everyone, Hacker Ray here, bringing you another great video. And today we have an unboxing of some new computer parts. So this is to finish off my build. So we got a EK 120 single radiator, and we have a EK Coolstream XTX 240 radiator, which is 80 millimeters thick, so it is a thick radiator. I was thinking it was more along the lines of 35 or 45 millimeter thick, like the original, but it was way thicker. And we got some more tubing and more coolant, or yeah, coolant. So here we go. Here's the radiator. Now EK's packaging is just great. They have their own design and their own color scheme, and it looks awesome. You can really tell them apart from other manufacturers out there. So here we go. Let's get into it. Automatically you open up the box and you get a warning. Now this is telling you to use the screws that are included and not to screw them past a certain point, because you could puncture the radiator. So always try not to screw too far. As long as your fans or the radiator is not wiggly, then you're good. You don't have to over tighten it. Otherwise you do like I did to the 120 millimeter dual radiator that was originally in my setup, which I punctured. So there we go. Now you can see it's very, very good build quality in this thing. It's excellent. The fin spacing is just the right spacing. The only problem is my case is a mid tower that does not support 80 millimeter radiator, especially with my Asus Deluxe motherboard in there, and the 32 gigs of Corsair Vengeance RAM do not support anything taller than that single 120 that was in there originally. I mean the dual 120 that was in there originally. So I put the lid on, and yeah, there's no spacing in it. So right now it sits with the lid off, but that's okay. I made it work, and I will upgrade my case a little bit later on. So next we have the 120 single radiator. Now this is the smaller one of their 120s. So if you're thinking between the 120s that EK has out there, this one here is the smallest one. They have another one that's just as thick as that last radiator. It's freaking huge. Now they do come bubble wrapped, and they are covered in this paper here, so you can know that there's no punctures, because if the paper is punctured, then automatically don't open it, send it back, because any puncture on these things will drain it out. Now I really like this design because my case, it kind of bows out in the back. I tried to fit it in inside the case, but it just doesn't fit. There's no room for it back there. So what I ended up doing was sticking on the outside. And what's nice is the outside kind of bows on that grate, so it fits in with the radiator. Like the radiator actually fits against it, so the fins are sitting right against the back grate where that fan is, which is awesome, because then it gives it full contact and full airflow through there. So that's how the basic setup's going to be. So here we go. We got the fans attached now, and we're just now starting to get some of the coolant lines attached. As you see, I hooked up that 120 in the back. So we are having to use the included water holes in the NZXT Phantom case. Now it fits perfectly there for the fan and everything. everything. It's flush against the case. It looks really good like this. I really like it. I was kind of worried about having it outside the case, but everything worked out really smoothly. Now, why didn't I just get a new case and sell this one? Well, the reason is to ship it here would cost $100 extra in shipping. So I'm gonna keep this case until I get back to the States and then run from there. Now here we go. We're filling the water system now, filling the loop. So what I did first was I filled the reservoir to the brim and then refilled my bottle all the way up. So when I turn it on, once it starts to fill up from the reservoir, I can start pouring at the same time to keep the reservoir full of water. That way the pump doesn't run dry. And as you can see, it drained about halfway to the reservoir here, but it was good because I still had plenty of time to keep on going. So we poured more of our fluid in there. Using 2 radiators, I noticed that, of course, it's going to use more fluid, but now when you turn off the PC, you have bubbles, especially on the back radiator because it is vertical and not horizontal. But that's okay. That's only when you turn off the system because the water drains out of the radiator and it kind of refills the reservoir. But once you turn it back on, it'll pump the bubbles out. So no big deal. And for those of you who are wondering, the bubbles do not reach the pump because the pump is on the top side for the top loop. So the bottom part going back into it does not touch there. So right now we got it filled, and now I'm just checking over for any leaks, any looseness, and we're tapping for bubbles to try to get the bubbles out of it. And we're tilting. You could tilt it, your PC, a little bit because you know the radiator sometimes they'll have air bubbles in there, so it's good to tilt it around. Now, I noticed a lot of custom builds have really boring layouts of how their water tubes are run. They were run straight. It looks clean, whatever. I kind of like loops and curves in mine, maybe twist overs. I think that looks better. So the way I went in the back was I did a twist over, which looks really great. That is an MSI benchmarking tool. But here we go. Here's the completed unit as it sits. So we got our rear mounted radiator and our top mounted radiator. All are between hot points. So it'll help cool the water from one hot point to the other a little bit. There's the loops I was telling you about right there. I really like the way it looks now. Now the whole case is, you got water tubing going all over the place. It looks pretty awesome. So to me, that's the look that I like. So that's what I'm going to stick with. So I did change up the fans a little bit. I'll be showing you a little bit more of that here. We're going to go stage by stage with it. Right now I'm doing a solid benchmarking on it just to make sure all the components are running properly. Because when I was draining this, when I had the puncture, it actually leaked water onto where the graphics card area is, which is why I had to get these new radiators. So as you can see, the CPU is running at a cool 30 degrees Celsius. The GPUs are running at 43 degrees Celsius. And the internal of the case is 32 degrees Celsius. So it's running pretty good, especially running benchmarks at maxed out settings. So the SLI is working perfectly. Now, when doing water cooled on your graphics cards, I highly recommend getting the back plate. That is what saved me here. The top radiator was punctured, and a little bit of the water and coolant did leak onto the graphics card, but luckily I had that back plate on there, guys, and it protected the graphics card. Because once I screwed in the fans and I turned it on. Everything was normal, it looked nice, but I turned it on the next day, and I noticed that there were air bubbles in the lines, and it wasn't filling. And I was like, oh my god, it's a leak. And water, sure enough, dripped and landed on that back plate, and it saved my ass. So here we go. I found some NZXT fans lying around here. So there we go. We got the Corsair. Those are high pressure optimized fans. They're static pressure. And then the NZXT are high flow fans. So they're helping doing a push-pull setup here, which looks lovely. But I noticed that the back radiator didn't have any fans on it. So I found one of my neon fans and put it there, so that's running a push-pull too, which helped out with the cooling significantly. Because where we were getting around 51 degrees Celsius on a max benchmark, now we get around 45 to 46 degrees Celsius, which is very good. Especially since the cooling comes from there. So now I'm going to explain the tubing to you guys. Okay, first we have our tube going from our reservoir. It goes into our 240 millimeter radiator, which is kept cool by a push-pull system. Then that goes into the processor, and then from the processor it loops down out the case into the rear mounted radiator, which is also push-pull, and then it comes back through the grommet, loops over and into the graphics card, and then from that graphics card loops down to the next graphics card, and then back to the reservoir to be pumped back into our loop. Now this works perfectly because after the graphics cards heat up the water because they get so much hotter, it goes through the reservoir and it's getting cooling from that, and then into the big radiator, which also cools significantly, back into the processor, already pretty cooled. The processor heated up a little bit more, and it'll go back into another radiator to cool off even more, and then it come back to the graphics cards. So we're able to maintain steady temperatures across the board, especially in the GPU range because of the direct contact with that 240 radiator up there. But that is the build so far. I think that's about it. Next is just keyboard, mouse, and monitor. So let me know in the comments, guys. What do you think of this build? Do you like this? Does this look cool to you? When I get back to the States, I will purchase a new case and probably do a new build because I want to do a 4-way SLI something. And I will take comments on it and we'll try it out and we'll do it. Now I did have to take the top cover off of the Phantom, but that's fine. Just to show you how thick the radiator is, in case you're thinking about buying it for your own case. Just remember to check to make sure if it's either a 34, 45, or an 80 millimeter radiator, and that way you'll know if it'll fit in your case. Otherwise you'll be like me, and you just have to modify it to make it work. But it looks sweet the way I did it. We got the neon effect, all the tubing's running around. It looks awesome. Everything pretty much in this build is made by EK, so I want to give a shout out to EK here, because we do have the pass-throughs by EK. We have the backplate, the water blocks, radiators. So a lot of it's by EK. Now here we have these pass-throughs. These are if you have the EK water blocks, instead of having the tubings run, you can have those, and it gives it more of a clean look. The reason why I had those up there is because I will be giving them away. So stay tuned to my next video, because right now I'm thinking about how I want to do the giveaway. Since I have 2 of them, I'm just trying to think about it. But here are the boxes. As you can see, the designs are pretty much the same. So if you're thinking about a water cool setup for your system, go to frozenpc.com and then check out all the EK lineup they have because these parts are awesome. They never leak. They're all certified, and I've only had nothing but good experience with them. And they just look amazing. So these are the ones I'll be giving away. One's a 2 slot, and the other one's a 3 slot. Now this is for 2 graphics cards. So you can either have them separated by a slot in the middle or right on top of each other. So I will be thinking about how to give those away. Till then, stay tuned for more videos from my channel. We'll have more gameplays, more tech stuff coming out. Right now these are just benchmarks. It's comparing my computer against a computer that uses a Titan, a preset computer, and it shows you how far ahead I am, minus the orange, compared to those computers. And then here's another benchmark. We're using the Zotac Firestorm to monitor the GPUs, and we also have CPU-Z monitoring the CPU, and GPU-Z monitoring the second graphics card. So as you can see, the temperatures here are around 51 degrees, which isn't bad. This is before push-pull. So this is with max everything, anti-aliasing times 8, tensillation, and we're still holding around 120 frames average, which is great. This is also another Asus benchmark right here. This is their new one that came out. You can buy this on Steam. It was on the Steam sale. I got it for around $20. It should be $30 now since it's not on sale anymore. But it's a very awesome benchmarking tool. It comes with 3 to 4 different benchmarks depending on your system. So a very useful tool here because it will push everything to the test and let you know what your system is capable of running. Other than that, thank you guys for watching this video. Also, be sure to check out some of my sponsored channels and my affiliate channels, like the Destructo channel and some of the other ones that I have on my list over here to the left of the screen for you. And be sure to like and leave your comments. So stay tuned for the giveaway video that should be coming out soon. And I will have some more great stuff for you guys. I promise. I'm making it right now that the computer's up and running again and it's smooth, perfect. It's a little bit louder, but it's worth it for all that extra cooling. I really think a 2 radiator system, if you're running multiple GPUs, is a must. Especially if you're running a high processor. So guys, thank you guys for watching and enjoy the rest of this benchmarking video. And don't forget to subscribe and like and comment. It's been fun making this video for you guys. I hope you like this build. I've enjoyed building it and sharing it with y'all. It's nice that you guys take an interest in this, and I hope it helps y'all guys out because I made mistakes in this build, and I hope that you can learn from my mistakes so that y'all guys won't make the same mistake. You won't have to do like I did and just like throw money at places. But Frozen PC has been a godsend for me, especially with water cooling setup. So if you got a water cooled setup, check out their website. It'll be linked in the description below. And that's all I got for y'all today. So thank you guys for watching and have a good day.